so now I want to talk about getting the girl's phone number, okay? This is plan C of the plan A, plan B, plan C structure. All right, remember, like, you pushed as far as you could in the initial interaction when you first met her, and then now it's time to take her contact information and set up a date, okay? So, for example, you would say something like, you know, it's really too bad that I or her, it's too bad you have to go now. I really did like meeting you, but when can I see you again? Right? Or you might want to even say, when can I see you again over the next few days? And it's really important to make it very clear to her that you want to see her again, okay? That you're not just taking her number to take her number. You're not taking her number to be polite. You're not taking her number to be like a texting buddy or to be another person liking her Instagram photos or whatever other idea that she might misinterpret it as. Okay? Now, when you get really good, it's going to be more obvious, and you might not need to even say that, but definitely in the beginning, make sure it's very, very clear that you want her number to take her out, right? To meet her again. Okay? So make sure when you exchange numbers, you're doing it really quickly in the event of, like, you know, maybe she's about to be rushed. Okay? So sometimes if you know the girl isn't in a complete rush, you don't have to feel forced or anything like that, but if you know that the girl's waiting for her Uber, or she's waiting for her friend, or there's some obvious time constraint where in a moment she might have to go, take her number and be like, all right, well, before you go, you know, just in case, I want to take your number now in case if I lose you, and then we can set up plans, and then you could go back to the regular conversation. And I know I said you want to take her number, but realize that there's like some part to it. As far as like landmines go, right, things that you want to prevent from ruining your interaction, not every girl uses standard text message to stay in touch with people, okay? So some women really are going to be better over WhatsApp. Some girls are going to be better over social media. Some girls are better over, like, I don't know, like, let's say Snapchat or whatever. The point is that it really isn't as black and white as it used to be. And if you want to avoid losing phone numbers, it's really important to start asking questions about, like, so wait, are you better over Snapchat? Or are you, for instance, let's say you're in, you know, Europe. You're like, you use WhatsApp, right? Okay, cool. So I'll message you on WhatsApp. She says like no, or I'm not so good over WhatsApp. Be like, okay, so what's the best way I want to stay in touch with you? I want to make sure to stay in touch with you, right? And if she's like, what do you mean, or something that she thinks it's weird, just explain to her. Not, you know, I know not every girl uses like the same thing anymore. It's different, right? And just to give you an example, there's been many times where I almost lost numbers, or I have lost numbers or meetups or whatever, because I thought like she would use WhatsApp because we were in Europe, and it turned out, you know, her WhatsApp wasn't working, and she actually was waiting for me, and if I messaged her on iMessage, right, it would have been better for her, and so I lost the date, and it sucked, you know, like if you like the girl, you know, that's a stupid thing to lose the girl over. So make sure you find that out. I will say, though, be careful with girls that give you their social media. Some girls, like, they'll give you their Instagram as a way to, like, blow you off. And they figure, like, hey, if I could get a few likes on my photos out of it, you know, why not? Okay? And also be careful if you're, let's say you do exchange Instagrams and your Instagram isn't optimized, right? Like you have stupid things on your Instagram that's going to make you look really low value. All right. A lot of things we try to do is give the girl a lot of high value context to who you are. And if she starts getting more context of who you are, but it all comes off as low value or creepy or awkward, yeah, good luck seeing that girl again, okay? So, yeah, exchange whatever the best, you know, medium to reach out to her again. Exchange that, okay? Whatever, if it's her phone number, go for that. Also realize WhatsApp numbers oftentimes could be different than, like, iMessage numbers. So really, like, make sure you're clear on the best way to reach out to her and that you have the right information. As far as the ways to go and exchange numbers, there is a sequence that I use. The first way I like to get a girl's number and exchange contact information is I'll say like, here, let me, where's your phone? I'll give you my number. And I just say in a very assumptive way. And what it allows me to do is put my number in her phone, right? So first I'll like enter my number, then I will call myself or text myself, and then I will save it. And that allows, just in the event that she gets pulled away last minute, I already have her number. You know, allows me to make sure that I have the right number. So let's say she was not totally comfortable yet. Now I'm taking her number and I still have it. So if she was gonna like give me a fake number, I get to bypass that. And now, you know, if there's any comfort issues, I actually get to address it rather than having a fake number being like, oh crap, right? I got to fix it. The other thing is I got to save my name in her phone as something like, you know, not Chris from the street corner, and I got to save it as something like Chris, love of my life, or charming Chris, or something like that. Something a little bit more romantic. Just try to keep away from being super cheesy. I'm just trying to give you some examples of things I've used in the past that got a really good response out of girls. But it's way better than Chris from the street corner, or what the hell's his name again? You know, like guy from who approached me in the morning. Like, that's not helpful, okay? You're going to see a lot of times, as we found, like, a lot of times girls will not come back because they think about, let's say, you know, how will this sound when I reach over to my friend and tell them the story, or when they look back at their phone and the whole thing feels like, oh yeah, actually I don't really know this guy's name. That stuff, the aftermath actually a lot of times ruins your numbers. So make sure your name is in her phone if at all possible, and make sure also, like, one thing I like to do, just as a side tangent, is tell the girl, like, oh, and by the way, where are you, like, if she says she's going to her work now, just be like, okay, and by the way, if you tell your coworkers, make sure, like, it wasn't some fucking weirdo from the street corner, like, tell them, you know, he was a nice, good-looking dude, well-presented, and like, wow, how often does that happen? What a miracle, okay? Make sure you present it well for this girl, because she's not going to know what to say, and if she spits it out in a weird way, and then her coworkers are like, well, that sounds weird, yeah, like, it's going to be really hard to see her again. Now, coming back to taking her phone number and all that, also realize, like, sometimes you probably had it happen. I've had it happen a million times where, like, I'll take a girl's number, I'll get distracted, and I'll forget to call her, forget to text her, and I'll lose it, right? Like, and I'm like, or I'll take 3 or 4 numbers, and now I don't know who's who, and I text the, you know, each number the wrong thing, and I blow it up that way. So be careful, okay? Just save it quickly, and just text, you know, you could text yourself like, hey Chris, I'm super excited to see you, you know, on our date for Wednesday or whatever. We'll talk about, like, actually what to text, but if you want to text yourself, that stuff is super cool. Or, you know, hey Chris, it's Cindy, super nice meeting you, something like that, okay? If she's kind of drunk, let's say, you know, what you could do is text a picture of yourself with the girl, both of you smiling, and all that stuff really, really helps, okay? Now, sometimes when you tell a girl to give you your phone, especially if you say it in an indecisive way, sometimes girls just won't give you their phone. Maybe it's because, like, they don't want to give it to a total stranger to hold, maybe he'll run away or whatever, who knows why they're concerned. But what you actually want to do in that case is just, you'll say, okay, well, sweet, I still definitely want to see you again, so whatever, I'll give you my number, or whatever, let me take your number and I'll text you now. And you want to text her right away, okay? You want to text her right away because, again, the same thing is, you want her to have your number, but you also want to make sure you have the right number, and you obviously don't want to lose it, but again, like, sometimes girls will plan on flaking you or giving you the wrong number, and you got to call it out when you see it's the wrong number. Like, you see they didn't actually get the call, and you're like, okay, look, if you don't want to give me your number, that's too bad. Like, it sucks. I actually did want to meet you, but I understand I can't force you to do anything. And is that addressing the comfort problem that is going to actually make it, that's actually going to get her to be like, okay, fine, I'm sorry. And then you know that she still needs more time. But if you just took the number and you're like, all right, I'll talk to you later, you text her hours later, you don't actually know, okay? So this is actually going to help you make sure your numbers are more solid and that any comfort issues are kind of like forced out into the open, and now you get to address them.